I worked in a rich family's house in Dubai. They took my passport and didn't pay me for 9 months. When I boarded that plane to Dubai, I thought I was doing the right thing. I wasn't the first in my neighborhood to try it. In fact, 3 other neighbors had traveled months before, and although they always came back with stories that sounded a bit exaggerated, they all returned with something: a new cell phone, a freshly painted house, a child in university. I wanted that for my mom, not for me. I had already accepted that dreaming wasn't for me. I don't come from a rich family or from higher education. I barely finished high school, helping an aunt sell empanadas on weekends, and then I worked as a waitress. In my country, that's not enough to even dream of owning a house. So when I met a lady at the bus terminal talking about an agency that sent women to work as nannies or domestic workers in Dubai, I approached her. She simply asked, "Do you know how to cook rice?" And when I said yes, she laughed and wrote my name down in her notebook. 2 weeks later, I had an appointment with an elegant lady in a downtown building. The contract looked serious. I signed it without fully understanding the clauses. My English was basic, and Arabic, well, not a single word. They promised me $600 per month, food, accommodation, and a return ticket after 2 years. It sounded fair. I hugged my mom goodbye for a long time. She told me, "God be with you," and I only nodded. I couldn't speak because if I did, I would have burst into tears. The family that received me lived in an area that looked like a movie set. Luxury everywhere. Marble floors, shining staircases, chandeliers that looked like floating jewels. The lady, Amal, didn't greet me. She just gestured with her hand and spoke to the other employee, a Filipino woman with a dull expression, who explained to me in basic English what my routine would be. I would sleep in a tiny room behind the kitchen, wear a uniform, and wake up at 5 a.m. every day. Amal asked for my passport and contract, to keep them safe in the vault, she said. I never saw them again. The first days were bearable. Lots of work, of course. Taking care of the 2 kids, preparing breakfast, cleaning, doing laundry, serving lunch, picking up toys, ironing. But I kept telling myself, "You're saving for the future." Just 2 years. The problem was, after the first week, there were no days off. Not one. And when I asked for my pay at the end of the first month, Amal looked at me as if I had insulted her mother. Pay? What pay? You haven't earned anything yet. You've been learning. I didn't know if she was joking. I looked at the other employee, but she said nothing. She lowered her head. The next month, it was the same. My back started to hurt. My feet burned. I barely slept 4 hours. The kids were cruel, yelling things I didn't understand. Amal didn't correct them. Sometimes she blamed me. Once, the youngest threw an expensive vase to the floor, and I was punished with a week without food. They only gave me leftovers, and if there wasn't enough, I didn't eat. In the 3rd month, I tried to talk to the husband, who seemed kinder. His name was Rashid. He listened to me in the kitchen while his wife was upstairs. He said he was sorry, that he'd talked to her, that it was only until they trusted me. The following week, they replaced my bed with a thinner mattress and banned me from using the main bathroom. I had to use an improvised latrine behind the laundry area. I started losing weight. My stomach constantly hurt. But the worst was the silence. The silence with which they walked past me, as if I didn't exist. As if I wasn't human. 5 months passed. 5. And I hadn't seen a single dirham. Once, I dared to say I wanted to call my family. They told me that cost money, that I couldn't use their phone, and that girls like me came to work, not to talk. I started writing a diary on napkins hidden behind the cleaning supplies. It was the only thing keeping me sane. On those napkins, I wrote, "Today I cried silently while ironing. Not because of the iron, but because seeing my reflection in the mirror hurt. I looked like a shadow." One day, the other employee, whose name was Lorna, approached me while we washed the dishes. "You're new," she said without looking at me. "I've been here 3 years. They took my passport too. And you haven't been able to leave?" I tried once. They beat me and locked me up for 2 days. I haven't tried again since. I wanted to tell her that wasn't fair. That couldn't be legal. But legal in which country? Under what laws? With what protection? In the 8th month, I heard Amal talking on the phone. She mentioned another girl was arriving, a new one. Lorna explained they'd probably replace me. That's what they did. Bring them, use them, replace them. And what happens to us? I asked. If we're lucky, they send us back. If not, they sell us. I didn't know if she was serious or just trying to scare me, but fear paralyzed me. I didn't sleep that night. I thought of my mother, of my country, of how they probably didn't even know if I was alive. I tried to escape once. It was the 9th month. I took advantage of Amal leaving with the kids and Rashid being in his office. I slipped out the back door and walked fast through the neighborhood. I didn't know where I was going, but I felt I needed to get away. I didn't last 20 minutes. A camera recorded me. A security guard from the complex stopped me and called the house. They took me back. They beat me. Rashid yelled at me. They locked me in the pantry for 2 days. Lorna secretly gave me water. I fainted once. They don't remember that because to them, it never happened. When I came out, I wasn't myself anymore. I moved like a robot. Did what they told me, without thinking. One day, while I cleaned the glass of a huge window, I heard Amal tell a friend, "New girls are useless. You have to tame them." That word pierced my soul. Tame? As if I were a dog. As if I didn't have a story, a mother, dignity. But then, something happened. Something I didn't expect. One day, a package arrived. Amal wasn't home. Rashid received it. The delivery man asked him to sign, and by mistake, left the front door open. The main door. For the first time, I was alone, the door open, no cameras within sight. There were only seconds to decide. And I decided. I tore off my apron. Ran like the devil was chasing me. I didn't look back. I crossed the street, then another, until I found a market. I hid between fruit stands, behind some crates. Nobody found me. I had no passport. No money. No one to call. But for the first time in 9 months, I had something I had lost. Hope. And just when I thought maybe, just maybe, I could rebuild myself from there, someone said my name. My real name. In the middle of the market. Out loud. And it wasn't someone I recognized. Less than an hour had passed since I escaped, and my legs were already trembling. I was crouched between some crates of rotten lemons, hiding behind a metal stall with a beige canopy. The air smelled of fermented fruit, sweat, and dry grill smoke, that thick scent of open-air markets. My breathing was so loud, I feared it would give me away. My mouth was dry, and my throat felt like paper. I didn't know if it was fear or heat. Maybe both. Then I heard it. Grace. My name. Clear. Slowly. In slow, dragging English. And it wasn't said with shouting or anger. It was spoken like someone looking for a lost puppy. I barely peeked an eye between the crates and saw him. A tall man, in a white shirt and linen pants. He wasn't Rashid. He wasn't the guard. He wasn't anyone I had seen before. His skin was dark, like mine, but he spoke with a strange, African accent. He wore a blue cap that said, Logistics Corp. In embroidered letters. He walked calmly among the fruit stands, as if he knew I was watching him. "Don't be afraid," he said, without turning his head. "They sent me. I didn't know if that was worse."
Who sent him?
Amal? Rashid? The police? The agency? God? I was about to run, but my legs didn't respond. The man approached slowly. He didn't run. He stopped a few steps away and crouched to my level. "Are you Grace? Did you work for the Al-Saudi family?" I swallowed hard. The name brought back my dizziness. I barely nodded. My whole body trembled. I pressed closer to the crates, as if I could merge with them. "My name is James. I'm from Kenya. I work with others who came here, like you." He sat in front of me, squatting. He smelled of disinfectant and heat. His expression was soft, almost paternal. He spoke to me like he had all the time in the world. "Lorna told me you were trying to get out. She sent me a message through a contact. She only said, 'The new girl is in danger.' I came in case you were ready." When I heard Lorna's name, something broke. I didn't know she was watching over me. I thought she only wanted to survive, like me. I covered my face with my hands. The tears came out without permission. "I can't go back," I told him. "They'll destroy me." "No one's taking you back, I promise. But we have to leave here. We can't stay long." I had no clothes, no money, no papers. Just the uniform I was wearing, dirty and sweaty, with bleach stains on the chest. I stood up, staggering. James firmly held my arm. "Let's go," he said. "You're not alone anymore." The journey was long. We walked almost an hour through alleys, avoiding main roads. James knew the shortcuts. He turned corners naturally. Sometimes we passed behind abandoned buildings, other times through narrow corridors between constructions, where the air became suffocating. "Where are we going?" I finally asked. "A safe place. With others like you." My feet hurt. I hadn't eaten in almost 2 days. The heat felt like the sun weighed on my shoulders. Sometimes I lost my balance, but James held me. Finally, we arrived at an industrial area. No skyscrapers, no luxury cars. Just rusty warehouses and gray structures. James knocked on the metal door of a warehouse with a pattern of 3 short knocks, 1 long and 2 more. No one answered. He waited a bit, then repeated it. The lock turned. A woman around 40, with cracked eyes and a serious face, opened the door just a few centimeters. Who? It's Grace. The one from Lorna. The woman looked through the gap, then fully opened the door. Inside, the atmosphere was completely different. No furniture, just mattresses on the floor, 5 or 6 maybe. At the back, a small stove, a bucket with half-cooked rice, bottles of water, old fans barely working. It wasn't comfortable. It wasn't clean. But it was freedom. I'm Soraya, the woman said. I also worked for rich families. They broke my arm. I escaped 6 months ago. I didn't know what to say. I nodded. I could barely stand. James helped me sit on a mattress. The world spun. They covered me with a tattered sheet. The air smelled of dampness, but for the first time in months, I wasn't afraid. Just hungry. They'll take care of you, James said before leaving. I'm going to get food. And talk to someone trustworthy. Who? He paused for a second. A doctor. You need attention. You look awful. I slept almost a full day. Soraya told me I talked in my sleep. That I cried in my dreams. That I screamed. When I woke up, they gave me lentil soup. It lacked salt, but it was the most delicious thing I had tasted in 9 months. I devoured it, as if there were no tomorrow. There were other women at the shelter. 3 from the Philippines, 1 from Ethiopia, another from Nepal. They all had similar stories. One had lost sight in one eye from a beating. Another didn't even know which city she was in. They were all afraid. At night, we spoke in whispers, lying in a circle. It was like being inside a capsule of broken women, patching ourselves together with words. We shared what they had done to us, what we left behind, what we missed. I just wanted to send money so my sister could study, one of them said. I didn't want luxuries. My mother sold her most expensive piece of jewelry to pay for the ticket, said another. She doesn't even know I'm missing. I didn't know if my mom was still waiting for me. I didn't know if anyone thought of me back home. I started writing again, this time in a small notebook Soraya had given me. I wrote, I'm alive. Not free, but breathing. 2 days later, James came back. This time, he wasn't alone. He came with an Arab man, neatly trimmed beard, severe expression. Everyone tensed up. No one moved. The man raised his hands. Relax. I'm not with the police. I work with a mosque in Al-Quaz. We help girls who escape. I'm no saint, but I'm not here to turn you in. I didn't trust him. None of us did. But James nodded. He helped me get 3 women out last month. We sent them to a shelter. They have food, air, doctors. It's better than this. I didn't want to leave alone. But Soraya grabbed my hand. You go first. If it's safe, you'll come back for us. I agreed. The shelter was a concrete building, no windows. From the outside, it looked like an abandoned factory. Inside, at least there were real beds. Beds. With mattresses. And bathrooms. And clean sheets. They gave me clothes, shoes, soap. I ate rice with vegetables, drank cold water. That night, I looked in the mirror for the first time in months. My skin clung to my bones. Deep dark circles under my eyes. Chemical burns on my arms. My hair like straw. But it was me. Still there. Still fighting. In the middle of the night, I heard voices in the hallway. 2 new women. One was crying. The other shouting. I got closer. I recognized that way of screaming. That accent. I don't want to go back. She hit me with a stick. I don't want to. I don't want to. It was a child. No more than 14. The woman holding her hugged her tightly. They won't hurt you anymore, she kept repeating. You're safe with us now. I leaned against the wall. I was trembling. Not just with anger. With recognition. With the awareness that we were all pieces of the same machine that swallowed us alive. And that's when I understood. Escaping was only the first step. The next was fighting to be human again. And just as I was convincing myself of that, someone banged hard on the shelter door. Harsh knocks. 3, then 2 more. No one was expecting visitors. One of the women peeked through the peephole, then backed away pale. The voice that came from the other side was unmistakable. Grace. I know you're in there. Come with me. I'm begging you. It was Rashid. At first, I thought I imagined it. That my mind, shattered by fear and anxiety, was playing tricks on me. But no. It was him. His voice came through the door like he had a speaker in his chest. Like his throat was made of tempered steel laced with expensive cologne and contempt. Grace. I know you're in there. You don't have to be afraid. I just want to talk to you. Inside the shelter, the silence was so heavy I could hear the old ceiling fan struggling to turn. The women looked at each other, tense, paralyzed. The young girl from earlier hid under a bed, and one of the volunteer workers, an older Indian woman with gray hair and red, tired eyes, motioned for us to stay still. I couldn't move. My heart slammed against my chest like it wanted to escape on its own. I curled up in a corner of the common room, clutching a blanket like it was a shield. Rashid. He was here. In the building. Looking for me. Grace. I know you're confused. But we can fix this. I promise you Amal wants to talk. She misses you. That sentence, it was like a knife to the chest. Amal? Miss me? He couldn't be serious. I pictured Amal sitting on her gray velvet sofa, petting her Persian cat, so calm, so elegant, giving Rashid orders in the same voice she used to ask for sugar. Miss me? Her? She didn't even know what my real voice sounded like. Her? The one who called me filthy animal when I accidentally broke a glass? If you don't open the door, I'll have you taken out, he said, less calm now. The words hit the walls like lead. It only took a moment. Just a threat disguised as a plea. But it changed everything. One of the volunteers, a young man from Bangladesh, early 20s, usually stationed at the entrance, ran downstairs. The Arab man with the beard, the one James had brought before, came out of a room and spoke to him in a low voice. They decided not to open the door, not to answer, but they knew something I didn't. How did he know I'm here? I asked, my throat dry, staring at the man from the mosque. He held my gaze firmly, without blinking. Someone talked. We don't know who. But this place isn't safe anymore. We didn't sleep that night. We took turns watching through the peephole. The knocking, soft but relentless, came every 2 hours, like a drip landing on the temple. I didn't eat. I vomited the little soup they offered me. I had a fever. Soraya pressed cool cloths on my forehead and held me while I cried, curled up like a child. I felt defeated. Not just because of Rashid, but because I knew that even hidden, even cared for, even surrounded by others who suffered like me, I wasn't safe. At dawn, a white van parked outside.
No plats.
No logos. 2 men got out with papers in hand. They wanted to come in. One wore a vest with a symbol I didn't recognize. The bearded man from the mosque went down to talk to them, but didn't let them in. It was a tense conversation. Short words. Controlled voices. Something was wrong. Then he came back with a grim face. We have to move. What's happening? Soraya asked. They came with a legal excuse. Claim they're looking for missing workers. But they have no search warrant. No names. No clear process. This smells like pressure from someone powerful.
He looked straight at me.
They're looking for you. With money. They divided us into groups. Some went out the back. Others took motorbike taxis. They wrapped me in a black abaya, full veil included. I felt trapped, but I knew it was the only way to move. James showed up on a motorbike. He made me get on without a word. I clung to his back like a drenched leaf. Where are we going? To someone's house. Someone who owes us a favor. But we can't stay long. The city swallowed us whole. Buildings, traffic, heat, smells. Dubai was a golden beast, beautiful and cruel. We passed streets I had never seen, neighborhoods full of unfinished construction. Elevated highways, 5-star hotels in the distance, unreachable. We arrived at a modest apartment in an old building. We climbed 3 flights of stairs. A woman with a kind face, fair skin, and cracked hands opened the door. She didn't say anything, just let us in. Inside, the atmosphere was calmer. A table fan, cheap carpet, peeling walls. They gave me water and a mattress. I slept like a rock. The following days were a long shadow. James came and went. He brought food, phone calls, information. I couldn't leave. I couldn't open the window. I showered with buckets, in silence. I dreamed of voices in Arabic screaming my name. Sometimes I woke up drenched in sweat, convinced Rashid was standing beside me, his shiny watch and his eyes full of disdain. One day, James came back with a brown envelope. He tossed it on the table. Your documents. I opened it. Inside were photocopies of my passport. Not the original, just copies. But with them, maybe I could prove who I was. James looked at me seriously. We can't get you out yet, but we're going to move others first.
Soon we'll do the same with you.
And if they find me before that, then you'll have to run again. But you're not alone, Grace. Never again. A few nights later, I overheard a conversation between James and the woman from the apartment. They were in the kitchen. They thought I was asleep. They offered money. For Grace?
Yes.
A lot. And you turned it down? I'm not for sale. Are you sure she's worth it? A heavy silence. As if something had frozen in the air. She's like a sister to me. I closed my eyes. Tears rolled down without permission. The following week, something changed. James arrived nervous. He didn't speak at first. He paced back and forth. Then he sat in front of me, handed me a phone. Answer. It's Lorna. What? Where is she? She got out. She's safe. I answered. On the other end, her voice sounded broken, weak. Grace.
I'm so sorry.
You have to know it wasn't your fault. Rashid, he's saying you stole things. That you ran off with jewelry. That you escaped the wrong way. What? He already reported it to the police. There's an alert with your name. They say you're wanted. That there's camera footage of you leaving the house. They made up a whole story. I felt an emptiness in my chest. A deep nausea. But it's a lie. Of course it's a lie. But that doesn't matter here. They have power. And you have nothing. James took the phone from me. It's time. Where are we going? We're not going. You are. Tonight. And you? He looked at me with a sad smile. I'll do whatever I have to so you cross that border. Even if it breaks my heart along the way. And so, in the middle of the night, they handed me a backpack, some crumpled dollars, the passport copy, and a name written on a piece of paper. Hanan. Ras Al Khaimah. Follow the route.
She'll get you out by sea.
But if you don't get there before sunrise, forget it. The border will close. James hugged me. For the first time.
Tight.
Like a brother. Like a friend. And when I opened the door to leave, I saw what I feared most. A black car, no lights, parked in front of the building. And inside, through the dark windshield, a familiar figure watching me. Amal. I didn't know if I was dreaming. Or if it was the worst deja vu of my life. I saw her inside the car, sitting in the back seat, her silhouette straight like a pencil line. Amal. Staring at me through the tinted windshield, with those emotionless eyes that always seemed to be judging, weighing, calculating. I couldn't see if she was smiling, but I felt it. I felt that presence like a chill crawling down my back. I didn't run. I didn't scream. I didn't move. James, who had come down with me, noticed instantly. He pushed me with one hand on my chest and pinned me back against the building wall.
What did you see? She's there.
Her. In the car.
He peeked out.
A quick glance. His body tensed. The air grew dense. We need to go out the back.
Now.
Everything happened in seconds, but I lived it in slow motion. We went down the service stairs. James spoke on his phone, shouting fragmented words in rushed Arabic, mixed with English. I could hear cars speeding on the street.
Horns.
Voices. A white van appeared on the corner. James shoved me inside. There were 3 more people, all in simple clothes, dark faces, deep-eye bags. No one spoke. Only the engine and the low radio were heard. Who else knows? I asked James as we drove off. Too many. But it doesn't matter. If everything goes well, this is the last time they chase you. I couldn't speak. I just kept thinking about Amal. Her stare. How her presence alone had paralyzed me more than Rashid's yelling. It was different. More dangerous. More silent. The route to Ras Al Khaimah was long. We crossed desert areas, tolls, dark stretches with no lights. We switched vehicles twice. At one point, we had to wait an hour at a cargo station while a contact negotiated with the guard. What happens if we don't make it before sunrise? I asked the driver. Don't ask that, he said, not looking at me. It's not an option. I dozed off for just a few minutes. I dreamed of my mother in Nigeria. My little sister. A hot plate of rice, served on a wooden table. I woke up sweating, eyes wet. A woman gave me a water bottle. She didn't ask anything. We arrived at dawn, with the sky painted red. The sea looked like a still mirror. On a lonely beach, surrounded by rocks and trash, a woman waited with a white scarf covering her hair. Her skin was weathered, her eyes bulging, and a scar marked her forehead. Her voice was deep, but maternal. Are you Grace? I nodded.
Get in. Don't speak. Don't look back.
The boat was small. Rusted engine. Plastic sheets on the seats. Smelled like old gasoline. 5 of us boarded. The sea was calm, but something in the air warned of a storm. James stayed on the shore, watching from the sand, saying nothing. Thank you, I whispered, just before the engine started. I don't know if he heard me, but I saw him place a hand on his chest, as if he were keeping me there in silence. Out at sea, the wind began to roar. The waves struck hard. The woman with a scarf covered us with plastic to keep us dry, but I couldn't stop looking back. Dubai's coast faded away, as if it had never been there. As if everything lived during those months had been a nightmare trapped between towers of glass. For the first time, I felt a breath of freedom, but also an unbearable fear. Now what? I asked the woman with the scarf. Now you pray. And if you don't believe in anything, then hold on tight. And just then the engine failed. A dry thud. A metallic screech. The boat tilted. The propeller stopped. The wind howled louder. The woman began shouting instructions in Arabic. One of the men vomited over the side. The other pulled out a wooden board like he knew what to do. I just clung to the edge of the boat. Are we going to die here? I screamed.
No.
But we won't reach Oman tonight either. We're going to float. Hours later, still adrift, a light appeared in the distance. A ship. It wasn't military, nor was it a fishing boat. It carried no flag. It was approaching fast. Very fast. The woman grabbed my arm. If they ask your name, say Mariah. And say you're from Sri Lanka. Why? Because if you say Grace, they'll send you back. And if you say Nigeria, no one will protect you. My body trembled.
My voice was gone.
I could barely nod. The ship stopped a few meters away. A small boat was lowered. 3 armed men. One wore a reflective vest. Another had dark sunglasses.
The third said nothing.
How many are you? 5. Passports. She handed over 2. Fake ones. The rest had none. The man with the sunglasses looked straight at me. You?
Mariah.
Sri Lanka, I said, feeling the words slice my tongue. He nodded. Get in. Just you 3. He pointed to me, the woman, and the other man. The others protested. They screamed. They begged. But they were pushed back. One fell into the water. The other stayed, crying in the boat. We were taken into the small boat. And in the most absurd silence of my life, I knew I was abandoning people just like me. That survival is also betrayal. That freedom isn't always earned with justice, but with luck. Hours later, we were on land. A clandestine dock. They gave me dry clothes, hard bread, and an old phone. You have a contact in Yemen, said the man in the vest. He'll call you in 3 days. Until then, speak to no one. Don't draw attention. And don't trust anyone. Where am I? Nowhere. You don't exist yet. The woman who came with me hugged me tightly. She was crying. Grace, right? Yes. I heard you on the boat. You were praying for someone. My sister. Does she know you're alive?
No.
Then fight. Because when you go back, make sure it's you who tells the story. Today I write this from a room with no windows. In a country with no name. With a borrowed identity. I'm safe. But I'm not free yet. Amal and Rashid think they won. That they made me disappear. That no one will ever know what they did. But I learned something among all these shadows. Silence is the one thing they can't take from me. Because one day I'll break it. And when I do, let the world listen.